what Stoicism is, but they don't know that they don't know. Stoicism got its name because Zeno of Citium, circa 334 to circa 262 BC, the founder of the school, did his teaching in a public colonnade or porch, stoa, overlooking the Agora of Athens. Stoicism was known on this account as the philosophy of the porch, as opposed to the philosophy of the garden, that of Epicurus, or the philosophy of the academy, that of Plato, or the philosophy of the Lyceum, that of Aristotle, with each name referring to the place where the teachings of the school were imparted. So if Stoicism sounds too forbidding because of the word's popular meaning, you could try telling your family that you are studying the philosophy of the porch. They might like that. More probably, readers who take an interest in our subject will also have to get used to explaining that when they refer to Stoicism, they mean the old kind. 3. Many books about the Stoics have been written already. I should say a word about why another one seemed worthwhile, and what this book does that others don't. Stoicism has come to us largely through the works of 3 philosophers who lived in the first 2 centuries AD: Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. Seneca and Marcus Aurelius were Romans. Epictetus was Greek, but he, too, lived and taught for part of his life in Rome. The works they left behind tend to be miscellaneous in character. Often they consist of notes written without much order, or sorted in ways no longer meaningful to most readers. Nor are their writings cross-referenced. As a result, what any one of the Stoics taught about a given subject, let alone what they all said, cannot easily be found in one place. Seneca's comments on a topic might be spread over 3 letters and an essay. The same issue might be addressed at the start and end of the discourses attributed to Epictetus, or at a few different places in the journals of Marcus Aurelius. This arrangement can have its advantages. Sometimes unsystematic is better. But it is inconvenient for the student of Stoic thought who wants to see it as a whole, or to gain a sense of one writer's views, or the views of all of them on a particular topic. This book is a response to the state of affairs just set forth. It has 3 main features. First, it seeks to organize the ideas of the Stoics in a logical manner that might be described as progressive. Foundational principles come first, then their applications. I've tried to put the applications into a sequence that builds naturally, and, where relevant, that follows their growth in complexity. This approach is roughly reflected in the order of the chapters, in the order of the headings within each chapter, and in the order of the discussions under each heading. Those who don't care about the progression can roam around at random. The chapters are self-contained, so you don't need to read one to understand the next. But having a framework may still make the relationships between different parts of the philosophy easier to see. Second, the book aims to draw together the most important points that the different Stoics made about each subject and each division of it. Sometimes they spoke to different aspects of an issue. Seneca addresses one part of it, Epictetus takes another. In other cases, the same topic was discussed by all the Stoics. In that event, it is interesting to compare what they said and how they said it. The format lets them talk to each other. Third, this book mostly presents the teachings of the Stoics in their own words, or more precisely, in the translated words of the writers who stated them best. The introduction that comes after this preface, and then the introductions to each chapter, provide summaries for those who want them. And the first chapter contains more exposition than the others because it is the beginning. But the reader can skip all this with no harm done. Those who prefer restatements of Stoicism have other books to read, including some fine recent entries. The goal of this one is to concisely present what the Stoics themselves said. There is a distinct pleasure to be had, for those with a taste for it, in receiving these lessons from their original sources. An observation about our world that seems sharp and accurate gains a different kind of force when we see it expressed 20 centuries ago. The truth improves with age. 4. Carving up long works into excerpts, as is done here, necessarily means a sacrifice of context. Isolated sentences from a letter that Seneca sent to Lucilius can't capture the larger purpose for which his point was offered, for example, let alone the full thrust of the letter